from the Energy Boutique with the Energy and Ascension Forecast for Sunday, February 6th to Saturday, February 12th. So let's check out last week. What did we have coming at us last week? Well, first of all, we wrapped up January. We jumped into February. And of course, that brought us a brand new life lesson, brand new vibration to work with, brand new focus. If you haven't listened to February's energy forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do that. Set yourself up for success and alignment with all of these powerful cosmic energies coming in. It is the best thing that you can do for your future self. So we came into February with a brand new vibration, a brand new frequency, a brand new life lesson. We also ushered in this brand new month with a new moon in Aquarius. This was electric. This was definitely perspective changing. We had a lot of information coming at us. We had a lot of electricity in the air. It helped us to break free of some limiting thoughts, some old constructs, some old storylines. We are definitely piecing the bigger, broader picture and vision of our futuristic dreams and desires together. And this new moon in Aquarius is definitely helping us out in our mental plane in order for us to get that visual. Of course, the new moon in Aquarius came on the same day as the brand new Chinese Lunar New Year. This again was a lot of energy swirling around in the collective for us to actually grab onto and support. And of course, there was a celebration, the Imbolc celebration, which is the Gaelic festival of ushering in what they consider to be spring. Yes, we are halfway through the winter season, so to speak. From the solstice to the equinox, we made it halfway. This is another peak energy celebration, those vibes floating out there in the cosmos that we can hold on to, pluck, if you will, plant in the seeds of our mind space, of our heart space, for the new intentions, the new cycles, the new beginnings to get underway. Of course, we had the 2222 portal. This is the very first numerological portal that we're going to have here in February. This is highly charged. It opened up a brand new doorway that will just blast us from now until the 22nd of February. Again, please revisit the February energy forecast so that you can have a firm understanding of this beautiful window of opportunity that we have. And of course, Mercury went direct, thank goodness. Fun fact, this is the first time since April of 2021 that we have all planets direct, and they will remain in a direct position until the end of April this year. So this is a very rare opportunity to have all planets supporting us and pushing forward, supporting us in creating, beginning, starting fresh. This is going to be a powerful time because everything that we've been illuminated to, especially through the personal planet retrogrades, now we get to actually bring to life, bring to action. Keep in mind though, cautionary note, Mercury and Venus will not be out of their post-shadow period for a couple of weeks, which means that we have a couple of weeks to get our bearings. We have a couple of weeks to kind of reflect, to remind ourselves of some of the deep realizations that we had, and to get a plan together, of course, being strategic, being practical, logical, calculated in what it is that we need to do to actually birth this new reality in which we've been downloaded and inspired to pursue. So this week is semi-calm, but I say that with a little bit of a caution. We are in a very high vibrational portal from now until the 22nd. So when I say calm, it means that we don't have any major planetary ingresses, planets moving from one sign to the other. We do have major planetary aspects helping us out, helping the storyline and timeline get rooted in. This week, we are going to build to the very first quarter moon that we have taking place in Taurus. This is going to be a beautiful energy for a couple of reasons. First of all, the first quarter moon gives us an opportunity to take action on some of the things that we definitely knew under the new moon in Aquarius that we wanted to do, that we had to change, that we wanted to initiate. The Tauran energy is ruled over by Venus. And of course, Venus has come to a lot of realizations now that she's out of her retrograde and going direct on what she needs to do to rebuild her worth, her value, her routines, her relationship, her money matters. She got a lot going on. If you are not a Moon Guide subscriber, I would definitely recommend that you go ahead and sign up, track the manifesting stages through each month's lunar cycle, get your Moon Guide together, and absolutely be in alignment with the moon. This first quarter moon in Taurus is going to give us a little bit of stability back. Many of us lacking stability. What do we need stability in? Well, first of all, to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel like we know what the F is going on in the world. We've been just flying by the seat of our pants and it hasn't felt good. And so this first quarter moon not only gives us a little bit of clarity, gives us an opportunity to make a move and take some action, but this first quarter moon in Taurus is going to remind us that we got to get back down to earth, that we actually have a stable footing if we were to open our eyes and pay attention to the constants in our lives, to the things that are working, to the things that haven't changed. We got to get back to the bare basics and actually create a brand new footing underneath our feet. And that comes with taking a good stock, taking a good inventory on what we can count on within ourselves. This week, we also have Jupiter semi-sextiling Chiron. When I say that we are going to have a huge healing energy take over by the end of this week on the 11th, which just happens to be a very powerful master builder number, you best believe that you are going to feel a very sudden shift, okay? All the purging, all the releasing, all the pain, all the trauma, all the suffering, we're going to get an opportunity to lighten the load. Jupiter is about growth and expansion. He's in Pisces, which means that our intuition, our spirituality, our empathy, our compassion are peaking. We are recognizing that, you know what, we're seeing the world from a different set of eyes, a different understanding. Chiron, of course, is the wounded healer. We are absolutely aware at this point what needs to be healed in the world, but we're also seeing a huge amount of healing take place. You know, out of all this division, what we've been kind of realizing is that there is a space in all this division to unify. And that unification is a beautiful thing. We're in a year of building. We're in a month of unification and building and creating. And this is going to be a very, very beautiful energy to actually feel the shift within us and see it in the collective. Now, that might not sound like a very exciting astrological week, but let me tell you, this week is about fine tuning. We now have Mercury direct. Venus is direct, Mercury is direct. They went on a really heavy trip in the underworld together. That is our heart and our head. We are going to spend this week having some flashbacks, some memories, some aha moments, some connections emerge within ourselves, within our memories, within our, let's call it energetic and ancestral coding as well. We're going to have a lot of aha moments, a lot of flashbacks that's really going to bring the pieces together. This is the week where we fine tune our heart and our head and gain a lot of the puzzle pieces that we've been lacking, a lot of the clarity that we've been lacking. And so it's a good thing that we don't have too much going on astrologically to give us this time to get in alignment with ourselves once again. And just keep in consideration that we're going to be given some solid footing, some solid grounding points this week with that Tauran energy. And so we are really finding a brand new place that we are standing in our power with, in our truth with, in our mental plane, in our heart space. We are getting in alignment, mind, body, and soul. Not that I want to get ahead of myself here, but it's a good thing that we have a calm week coming at us, because the following week is going to be hella cray-cray, okay? Not in a bad way, but there's a lot of energy. Quick little rundown, and of course, we'll jump into more about this in next week's Ascension Forecast, but we have Pluto trining the true node. What does that mean? Huge transformation, putting us in the right direction, in the path in which we're going to move forward on. We have Mercury re-entering Aquarian energy, giving us that big vision, giving us that big picture, giving us a lot of information that we have previously been lacking. We are building up to Venus Venus and Mars conjunct in the cosmos. This is a rebalancing, a realignment of the feminine, divine, and masculine energy. This is going to be a great thing. Again, if you haven't listened to February's energy forecast, please go ahead and do that. It's happening on the same day as the full moon in Leo. That should be an indicator, the heart and soul of the zodiac, that the masculine and feminine divine energies are coming together in unification in order to support a brand new love cycle, a brand new playful energy, a brand new heart-led path. It is going to be a lot of energy to work with. Jupiter is going to be sextiling, making a lot of very powerful aspects, okay? Sextiling Uranus, and this Uranian energy shifts us very quickly. It makes us open to accepting dramatic changes, dramatic shifts in a brand new way. A lot of electricity, a lot of growth, a lot of insight. We're getting closer to our vision just before Pisces season begins. Okay, Pisces season begins, which means that we are in the last leg of our journey, the last leg of the astrological wheel. We are preparing for a purge, a release, a huge healing. Why? Because we get rebirthed when Aries season hits. Yes, we have one more season to get through before life begins again. So it's going to be hella dramatic, hella electric. Can't wait. But guess what? We have this week to get our breath, to get our bearings, to find a little bit of stable ground, to get everything all together so that when this highly, highly electric and transformative energy hits, that we have a solid footing to accept these energy upgrades. So, before I jump into this week's Ascension symptoms, I want to go ahead and thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Y'all are just the freaking sweetest. Thank you for downloading your February energy calendar. I love how many of y'all are putting your own health and wellness ahead of everything else. How much effort is being put into this little community here. All of us stepping up to do what is best for our higher selves. I love to see it. I want to thank you for those of you who signed up to the monthly moon reading subscription. I am tapped out. I actually removed it off of my website for the time being. I have enough people that I am providing individual readings for on a moon event basis. Wanted to thank you for that. And if you are still looking for some guidance, I would definitely recommend being a moon guide subscriber. Again, that's going to give you a full scope of the lunar cycle. It's going to give you a full scope of the manifesting stage that we're in. It's going to give you both moon guides. It's going to help you out. So I wanted to thank you because I've had a lot of love given to me. I've had a lot of you reach out and say, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so thankful for you. I'm glad I found your page. I'm glad I found your forecast. How can I ever repay you? Well, first of all, you don't have to repay me watching my videos, sitting through the ads. You get YouTube to pay me. And for that, I am super grateful. But some of y'all have definitely asked how you can give back in a more monetary support kind of way. And although I definitely do not need that kind of contribution, although it's very appreciated, very much accepted, I never want you to fork out, especially if you are in a tough financial situation. Your love, your likes, your shares, your comments, you sitting through the ads, good enough for me. However, if you check out my bio, there should be a link, and at the top there's donate and help the cause. That is the only way that I can accept some monetary love. And again, please do not ever feel pressure to do so. The love and support that you give me on this channel, the likes, the shares, the comments, totally enough for me. But I do understand that some people feel like they want to do a little bit more. So that is how you can do it. Okay, not spending too much time on the homework for this week. We got to jump into these Ascension symptoms. We got to get talking. So, the very first thing that I want to talk about is how freaking physically exhausted we are. Anybody else feel like we've been hit by a Mack truck or running a marathon? And I mean physically, because in our inner realm, things are just a spinning. You know, we almost have a little bit of manic energy in our inner realms. Things are just pumping. We have impulses. We have desires. We're a little bit shaky about, wanting to exert that energy. But I don't know. I know it's not just me, but I am freaking physically exhausted. Like low physical energy. And you know what? There's a good reason for that. First of all of this energy that we started February off in, that was just a highly electrical event. And when this many light codes are coming in, when the solar flares are popping off, when everything is just extreme, our physical bodies take the brunt of that. And many of us need to be laying still, curled up on the couch, crawled into bed, in order for these energies to do their thing. Now, I know it's hard when we have these aches, these pains, this want, need, and desire to get our asses in gear and we just can't do it. We get frustrated. We start hating on our physical forms, hating on our bodies. We adopt that negative narrative, like, what is wrong with me? I'm so tired of this. I have so much stuff to do. I can't afford to be laying down. This is a true lesson in acceptance of kindness, of the narrative that we need to switch up and be a little bit more loving and kind and supportive to our physical bodies. Because guess what? We will never fully understand and comprehend the amount of good that our physical bodies do for us. And yes, it can be hella frustrating. I've been on my healing journey now for over a decade. I had to learn how to walk again. I live with multiple chronic illnesses. I have to get weekly and biweekly injections in order to keep my body going because my body does not break down food. It does not pollute the nutrients. It does not create the chemicals or the endorphins or anything that your body's supposed to do. But guess what? I realized, and we talked about this before, I realized that my body is not weak. It is not broken, okay? It just needs a different kind of support. And when we are constantly in the negative narrative of harping on our bodies for letting us down, for not being strong enough, for not having enough energy, for not, whatever the case may be, you are literally talking your body into defeat, okay? We cannot continue to do that, guys. Like, we have to up our self-love game. For many of us, that's a very foreign concept because we were raised under the impression that putting yourself first was a selfish act. It is not. I see many people awakening to this healing journey, not even realizing that they cannot love themselves if they are carrying guilt about it. I have one client who's got a gangle of kids, who is a great mom, who was wore right down, where there's almost nothing left. And I said, if you started to just give yourself one day a week where you went in the bath, in a salt bath, in a cleansing bath, in a spiritually, aligned bath, a special bath, for an hour, you would feel amazing. And she said, well, I don't have time for that. So anyways, we did make time for this. And the very first time that she sat her butt down in that bath, she said she couldn't relax because she felt bad. She was laying in the bath thinking about, the laundry that could be getting done, for the dishes that are sitting in the sink, for the lunches that needed to be made, for the disaster of the house that she hated living in, but she couldn't keep up with. She laid in this bath for an hour trying to promote self-love, making herself feel bad for doing it. That is not how we do self-love, people. You cannot do self-love with a weighted, guilty heart. We cannot continue to do this. You have to change up the strength of the narrative to support you, right? Even if it's hard, even if it's trying, it's just like when you start doing meditation and you recognize that you can't quiet your mind, that you don't have control over your thoughts. This is when you have to adopt a certain mantra, sitting in this salt bath saying, listen, you deserve this. This is your time. This is healing. This is helping others, because that's what it is. We cannot continue to operate on a half-ass full cup, okay? If you think that you are giving the best of yourself by taking care of your kids, by taking care of everybody else, when you are running on fumes, you are sadly mistaken. You need to realize that nobody is getting the best of you. And that should be all the more reason to take care of yourself, to love yourself, to give yourself the time to rest and rejuvenate. Okay, so we have to do a lot more work, and being in these prime opportunities where we are exhausted, where we are running on next to nothing, when we very easily slip into the dialogue of hating on our bodies and being negative and all this kind of stuff because we don't have the energy and we should be doing this and we should be doing that. This is the opportunity to rewrite that narrative. This is the opportunity to adopt a better behavior, a better outlook on what it's actually like to take care of yourself and to do the self-love. So, yeah, we're low on physical energy. We have ran a marathon. May I remind you, we are nearing the very end of the astrological wheel. This is a year in the making. This is why this time of year is so dark, is so hopeless, is so exhausting, because our souls have gone through the evolutionary ringer, so to speak, preparing us to be humbled through complete exhaustion and essentially a death of self, because most of us just don't even feel alive at this point, so that we can appreciate the life coming back into our souls, into our realms, when we hit the new astrological calendar that gets ushered in with Aries season and the equinox. So yeah, we have some strong desires. We have a huge mental activity going on. Even though we have brain fog, it is going to take Mercury a couple of days to get adjusted, to come out of his shadow, for us to get that clarity and be thinking a little bit more effectively than not. Especially my Gemini and Virgo friends, or if you have Gemini and Virgo tough placements in your chart, it's going to take a little bit of time to actually feel stable in your mental plane again. Why? Because Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo. So my Gemini and Virgo friends and dominant placements, they've been having a rough time. They've been wondering why they feel like they're going crazy. Well, it's because your ruler was drugged. He's been put in the underworld for the last 3 weeks. It takes a little bit of time to adjust back to reality and actually get your bearings. So with this exhaustion, we get a little bit of achiness. We get a little bit of, when you're kind of couch bound for a while, you get that, I want to call them bed sores, but they're not really bed sores. You're just tired laying around, but you don't have enough energy to do anything else. So what else are you going to do? We have a lot of physical symptoms coming in with this high pulse energy. I've been very nauseous, and I've been hungry, nauseous, but then I eat, and then I'm nauseous because I ate. And then I have heartburn, and then I get hella thirsty, and then the cramps start happening in my digestive system, and then I feel bloated and gross and even dizzy because I feel full, even though I didn't eat enough to be full. It's a very, very weird time. It's a very weird time to be alive. It's a very weird time to feel our carbon-based bodies turn into the crystalline bodies. That, of course, that is what this whole ascension process is all about. It is very hard to deal with feeling stomach sick all the time. It is very difficult to constantly be at an unbalanced state in our physical bodies, in our mental planes, in our heart space, in our energetic bodies. It's hard to be unaligned for so freaking long. So we have a lot of digestive issues happening. Why is that? Well, because there's a lot of truth that just got exposed to us. And whether it's good truth or bad truth or whatever the truth may be, it's still a hard pill to swallow. And our digestive system is very connected to our central nervous system. And the energy coming in has a huge, huge impact on our central nervous system. So our digestive system is like a secondary symptom to the energy coming into our central nervous system. Now, why is the central nervous system always affected? Well, because light is information, right? And all these light codes coming in from this cosmic radiation is affecting our central nervous system because there's new information trying to come in. But of course, we have this old gunky information, old belief systems, old storylines, old behaviors, old contracts, gunking up the lines. We get those blockages. We get the aches and pains in our physical body because the light codes have nowheres to go. That's why it's important, even though we're exhausted, to do some certain activities that will help those blockages through. Dance in the kitchen, tapping. I don't know if you're familiar with tapping, but it's a therapeutic attempt to release the emotional, traumatic, painful experiences that we trap in our cellular memory in our physical form. It's a great thing. Even if you're laying on the couch and suddenly you're just overwhelmed with either grief or sadness or anxiety, just tap in to the area of the body that you're feeling the most tension, the most pressure, and start tap, tap, tapping. Just tap, tap, tap away, and do it with a positive mantra in your head. I release this pain because it's no longer serving me. I release this energy in encouragement of new light codes to enter. I release whatever blockages are currently holding up my progress. These are just simple statements that you can do while tapping these particular uncomfortable areas out of your physical body and providing a little bit of an opportunity for the new information, the new light codes to actually come in. So, of course, we have brain fog. Mercury coming out of a retrograde, going direct, gives us mental brain fog. We are dizzy. We are cloudy. We feel like we're drugged. We essentially were. That's what happens when planets go into a retrograde. They're essentially drugged. They have to float off into the unconscious realms in the underworld and really start kind of reflecting back, piecing everything together. It takes a while for our unconscious realizations to actually come into conscious awareness. And we are going to get a huge amount of clarity. The clarity is already beginning. It can't come all in one shot. It has to kind of be, dripped to us. If we went from a total state of confusion and chaos to 100% clarity and all-knowing, our brains would explode. It's not how we operate. It has to be dripped in small little pieces. And essentially, each and every day, the universe is gifting us with 2 or 3 little puzzle pieces that we're going to start snapping this shit together. This is what this week is about, getting all the puzzle pieces together and start seeing, the frame of the puzzle come together. And then, we got 6 little pieces snapping together here, 4 little pieces snapping together there. They don't quite fit together, but we can start to see where within the frame of the puzzle that it's going to illuminate a bigger, broader picture. It's like we're doing a puzzle without having the box to look at, right? Like we don't even know what the end puzzle picture is going to look like. All we have to rely upon right now is finding the pieces, first of all, seeing which ones snap together, and being patient enough to snap them together to have a bigger picture revealed. We are all going to be just wowed when all the pieces come together and we're like, this is the picture of the puzzle we've been building. This makes so much sense, right? But we're not there yet. We have a lot of puzzle pieces to snap together, and we don't even have all the pieces together at this particular point. We're in the organizational phase. I don't know if y'all are even into puzzles. I'm a puzzle junkie. That's why I don't do very many puzzles, because once I start a puzzle, I literally do not sleep until the puzzle is done. But anyways, I digress. Part of the puzzle building process is having all the puzzle pieces on the table, flipping them all over, taking all the flat edge pieces, putting them in one part, because that's the frame in which you got to build first. And then you start seeing, this one goes to that. That's an inner piece. This is making, a visual of a dog. Maybe we're building a dog picture. We don't know right now. We have to be patient. But our mental planes, our crown chakras are receiving all of these high vibes coming in from the cosmos. And again, solar flares have been off the charts. The Schumann Resonance is waking up and hitting values that we haven't seen in a while. We're constantly getting flagged with high vibrational energies coming in from the cosmos. Again, we're in this lovely 22222 portal. I don't even know how many 2s I just spit out, but I'm probably either short one or too many. It's usually how I do it. But anyways, we're in this very beautiful window of opportunity for building and creating here. And the energy that's coming in, being downloaded to us, has a major effect on our head, on the pressure in our head, on feeling drugged, on not being able to piece things together. Technically, it's not that we lack information, it's that we're overstimulated. And sometimes when you're overstimulated, it feels like there's nothing going on at all. And because of the subtle energies coming in, because of the puzzle pieces we're trying to sort out, because of the new information getting dropped on us each and every single day, we just haven't been able to sort it out yet. Our brains are fried, essentially. And we need to be patient. We need to give it time to sort itself out. It will absolutely sort itself out. Many of you, I know myself included in this, can't talk, right? Like Mercury rules over communication as well. And although I have the best of intentions in my mind for the words to come out in the way in which I envision them to, it's not working so good. I was actually very hesitant to even record this session because I wasn't making sense to myself. I'm here trying to talk to my dog, not even making sense to my dog. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to speak to all of these people and sound like I'm a, coherent human being at this point? Because it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. The words are not coming out the way I want them to. Now that Mercury is direct, we are going to find the communication is a little bit easier. Misunderstandings, miscommunications are going to be cleared up. But it's almost like the disconnect from the stimulation going on in our mental plane to actually coming out of our mouths. There's a disconnect there. It's fumbled. It's fragmented. It's not a clear connection right now. So that makes it hard because we're trapped in our heads, so to speak. I want to talk about the physical skin conditions that we're experiencing. So yes, there's a lot of breakouts. There's a lot of pimples, especially on the jawline, especially around the third eye. That makes sense to me. What is weird is that ingrown hairs are popping up. I want to say that they're like water blisters or pimples popping up on different areas of the body, heat rashes, eczema, all of these. And we talked about this. This does flare up from time to time because, of course, our skin is the largest organ that we have. And there's a lot going on in our internal organ system right now. And the first sign and the last sign that we see of healing is skin conditions. And, when we have skin eruptions, that usually tells us that there's blockages going on in the internal organ system. And we can use Chinese face mapping with our breakouts and with our rashes in order to figure out what organ needs our help and needs our attention. And we also see skin eruptions and skin symptoms when a huge amount of healing is going on, because it means that the energy blockages are being released in our internal systems, and the energy, the gunk, if you will, needs to make its way out. And of course, if our detox system, our lymph nodes, our liver, our kidneys aren't, functioning at their prime, it's got to be released somehow. And it does make its way in our bodies to the surface of our skin in order to be purged, in order to be released. Now, as uncomfortable as this may be, again, it's giving us a beautiful opportunity for some TLC, for some self-love, for some self-care. This is where you need to be very mindful about what it is that you're putting on your body. Many of the skincare items out there are packed full of toxic ingredients that have no business on our skin. Really bothers me to see how modernized, scented creams are and non-organic ingredient creams. Like every single time I see a Febreze commercial, I want to smash my TV. Okay. I don't watch TV very often, but it's like, oh, throw all these scent busters in with your laundry and then plug this, chemical toxic smelly thing into your wall and have it on an automatic timer so that your air is being poisoned at timely intervals. Stop with the poison. Like, oh, here, put this in your car so that your car can, push the air through these chemical, toxic, smelly dispensers so that you can disrupt your endocrine system and cause, a total disruption and chaos within your body. Like, please, I could rant about this stuff because this is the stuff that's making us sick. And every single time that I see how popular, Febreze is and Febreze spray, and let's spray all your furniture down and let's infuse your clothes with all this smelly stuff and stick it in your wall and stick it in your car. And, I have no clue how this stuff is so popular. It is a toxin. It is a poison. It is literally making you sick. If you are still using these types of products in your home, you have to understand the negative impact that this is having on your health, on the air in which you breathe, on the products that you're taking into your skin, like clothes. If you are using those scent busters in your clothes, please understand that our ancestors ran around naked, first of all, because clothes disconnects us from earth. It also blinds us from receiving the light rays and the healing rays from the sun. I understand we can't all walk around naked. Thank God, thank goodness for that. But here's the thing. Our skin is the largest organ in which we have. It's receiving information all the time. And when you're putting clothes, especially like not organic materials on your body, first of all, you're dampening down your senses, you're dampening your connection to your exterior realm. But then if you're going to soak your clothes in detergents and scent busters, your body is sucking that in all the time. Especially like females, if you have a problem with your cycle, if you have, thyroid issues, if you have any kind of hormonal issues, you have to look at the environment in which you're creating for your body. These are endocrine disruptors, okay? Now, essential oils, totally different game, but like Febreze definitely isn't natural, okay? You need to be very aware with what it is that you're putting in your body, especially in these times where our carbon bodies are trying to adapt to the crystalline energy that our energy bodies need us to be in. You have to be a little bit more careful and mindful with what it is that you allow your body to be exposed to. So I know that that was a little bit of a tangent, but like the pimples and the rashes and the ingrown hairs and all this kind of stuff, this is a time to get down and dirty, to go back to the basics on how to actually treat yourself with these conditions. We're talking tea tree oils, salt baths, chamomile. Like we're talking about, things that have been around for eons that are in our natural world environments that are meant to heal the ailments that we are currently talking about. Please give yourself an opportunity to return to the basic source healing modalities that our ancestors, that humanity originally started off of, because this modern day Febreze, scent buster, let's lather on this really efficient cream that is not made with one organic ingredient that has more toxic and cancer causing agents in it than nothing else. Like, come on, people. We need to wake up. We need to do better. So you may notice that you might be having a low-grade fever. You might be sweating a lot, especially night sweats. You might be running hot on the inside and maybe cold on the outside. Now, let me just tell you, with the amount of energy coming in, cosmic radiation coming into the cosmos, we're running hot for a couple of reasons. First of all, we are getting ants in our pants. We want to begin. We're not really supported in beginning something new, but that energy, that impulsivity, that desire, that passion is building within us. The majority of the reason why I want to talk about this is because we're in a state of burn off. So what do I mean by this? Well, it means that our physical bodies need to be at a higher temperature. And if that means a low-grade fever, then so be it. In order to burn off the toxins, the old light codes, the gunk, the blockages in our physical body. So we've been doing a very good job trying to keep it clean, trying to lighten the load for our physical forms. But there are some gunky parts, especially where we just went through that purge. What happens is we bring the not so nice thoughts and feelings and memories and contracts and elements in our energetic realm and soul contracts. We bring that up, and then it kind of lingers. It gets fragmented in our body. And sometimes, even though we're in a purge and we're in a releasing state, sometimes it doesn't get all the way out. And so sometimes our physical bodies need to take on a higher temperature, basically in order to burn the badness out, in order to burn the evil off, in order to burn that darker vibration right out of our physical forms. So there is a want, need, and desire for that sweat, for that heat, for that fire to be pulsating through our bodies. It is helping to clean out our lymph node systems, because again, that is the detox path. Or a lot of the reason why we have skin eruptions is because the detox path is not clean, is not clear. So we're having these little bouts of higher temperatures rise within our physical forms in order to in order to burn off all the badness. So we do have continued sinus congestion. A lot of that is because we're having a lot of pressure come into our heads, third eye activations as well. But a lot of it is mostly connected to the throat chakra. So we're having a lot of sore throats. We're having a lot of throat clearings, phlegm in our throats. Again, Mercury rules over communication. Mercury is trying to come up. He's trying to come awake. He's trying to get the sleep out of his eyes. We have a brand new truth that we got to speak. We have a brand new perspective. We have a brand new opinion. We are being pushed to actually speak up and to speak out and to activate that throat chakra. But we're biting our tongues. Many of us, of course, have split lips, have sores on our tongues or sore gums or sore teeth because we're holding the energy in. We don't want to spit fire until the fire is actually constructed in a way that is going to be well received. And of course, Mercury needs a little bit of time to be direct before we're all going to be on a clear path of communication. So the throat clearing is kind of preparing us because we got something to say, but we can't quite say it yet. And of course, that sinus congestion, like it's all connected. It's all the same system, right? So we have a lot of things to process. We have a lot of congestion in us because we're not getting rid of it. We're not letting the energy out as fast as we should be. Again, not really supported to do so, but we are building up to that. So you are going to notice a lot more itchiness in your throat. Again, swollen throat, sore throat, the want, need, and desire to clear your throat. These are all throat activations. I want to talk about something really strange, and bear with me. I actually hesitated. I should have talked about it 2 weeks ago because that's when it started happening to me. But then I felt like a weirdo, and I know that, we're all weirdos here and we should let the freak flag fly, but sometimes I get very hesitant in talking about my own experience because I'm a private person and I really don't like this is a big deal for me to be sharing. I'm not really a good sharer. But it happened to me 2 weeks ago. It really peaked over this last week. It is throat related, but it's also dream related. So we've been going through a very interesting time in our dream state in the astral realm where, and again, many of us work in other realms while we sleep. If you wake up constantly exhausted, if your dream state is more vivid than the reality in which you currently live right now, you're likely fighting battles in other realms while you sleep. I am a dream walker. I shouldn't say sleepwalker. I don't physically get up and walk in my sleep. I go to sleep and then go to other realms and walk around and fight wars and do my missions and all this kind of stuff. I live a totally different life when my physical body here in this realm is asleep. And not everybody is that case. I get it, but here's why I want to talk about this. We've been having some old trauma be kind of illuminated in our dream state. And again, our dream state is meant because a lot of us aren't capable of consciously moving through some of the pain and trauma that is in our DNA from this lifetime or from previous lifetimes. That's why we have a dream state, to sort those emotions out and to kind of sort that pain and trauma through. So 2 weeks ago, I started having dreams of, and I'm assuming old incarnations, where the witch hunt was very alive and well. And there was a sense of running and hiding and cloaking who it is that you were and your abilities. And in my dream, and this is not anything new to me, I've been burned alive in many lifetimes. I've been killed in pretty much every way possible. But I started having very serious astral experiences where the witch hunt was alive and well, and where being captured and being, kind of hung or burned alive or whatever the case may be, I was essentially reliving all of my deaths. And I know that just working with some of my clients, that this is a thing. This is something that the collective is going through. We have to kind of release the baggage of the old world in order for the new earth to actually be formed. And we can't take our pain and trauma from our ancestral DNA with us. Like, we have to clear that out. Again, another reason why we're having night sweats and higher elevated temperatures, to burn off those old DNA light codes. Anyways, 2 weeks ago, I started having these dreams of basically reliving all of my deaths. Last week, I had a very vivid astral experience where I was being hung again. And I say again, I'm not even reactive to it because I've been hung so many friggin' times. But anyways, I woke up with a rope burn on my physical neck. And I almost should have taken a picture of it to show you guys, just so that you knew that I wasn't a real wacko. But raw, wide open, blood on my pillow, rope burn on my neck. And I thought, well, you know what? That's wild. Treated it, got it back to a state of healing. So then it was like, maybe 4 days ago, I had another dream where we were in battle of some sort, and a very big masculine, bad dude grabbed me by my neck and pushed me up the wall. So basically he was choking me. And when I woke up the next day, I literally had a handprint, fingerprints, red fingerprints on my neck. And one could say, okay, well, maybe you're scratching yourself while you're asleep. Maybe you're grabbing your own neck. My hands, when I put my own hand over these thumbprints on my neck, my hands are not that big. Okay. I got tiny little piano finger hands. They were not my hands. Nobody else is here. Now, is that kind of freaky to some people? Probably. Should that be something that you should fear? No, not really. I mean, this is the spiritual realm, right? You have to have strong boundaries. You have to be firm in your practice. A lot of harm can come to you in the astral realm. A lot of, negative entities can enter your astral realm and very much affect your physical 3D realm. That's why you have to have a practice. That's why you have to have boundaries. That's how you have to be aware of what's going on. But basically why I wanted to talk about this is because the throat is involved, and people are trying to silence us right now. They're trying to silence our truth. They're trying to silence our power. Of course, our vocal cords, our throat chakra, we all have a vibration. We all have a frequency. Like, our voices carry a frequency. I was devastated because prior to my, whole death experience here in this physical realm where, I crossed over and came back, what they did to me in the hospital, I wasn't able to speak. They stripped my vocal cords. And when I had to learn how to talk again and get that reverberatory effect back in my vocal cords, I didn't sound the same. And that really bothered me. And even to this day, the way in which you're listening to my voice, this was not the voice in which I was born with. This is a wounded voice that I have learned to strengthen and learn to use and empower within my healing journey because I had to. But our voices carry a frequency. That's why when we speak mantras out loud and we speak words into existence, that's why, we are powerful beings. We need the frequency of song. We need the frequency of our voices, of our vocal cords to speak the powerful words that we have to speak in order to create spells, right? That's why we spell words with letters. They're all a concoction of magical frequencies that, when in alignment with one another, create a brand new reality, create a magic, create a force to be reckoned with. So I guess, that was a big tangent, but our dream state is very, very vivid. Okay. You're likely fighting wars on different realms and then coming back to your physical body here in this physical realm, and you're absolutely exhausted. If you're having marks on your physical body from some of the dream content that you wake up remembering, please recognize that you have to do your part to cleanse the space, to cleanse the energy, cleanse the vibe, to protect yourself, to enforce the boundaries as you're going to sleep in order to call in your energetic tribe to keep you safe in the other realms and return to your physical body in the morning. And if you tend to have physical signs and symbols of the war in which you just kind of had, please treat yourself physically and repair that state of being and understand that this is how old trauma is released. So there's a lot of neck pain, neck cramping, neck cracking, throat issues, because many of us are revisiting many previous deaths and how we were silenced in the past and preventing us from actually speaking up. We have the heart activations continuing, although we're on a lighter vibe in that heart chakra. We have Venus to thank for that. She is every single day putting one foot in front of the other, being stronger within herself. Now, one thing I wanted to bring to your attention is the fact that why we talk about these planets, why they're so important, is because we all have the archetypes of these planets, of the energy of what their focus is in our chart. That's why your individual birth chart is so freaking important to understand. This is like clockwork. If you know that you have a dominant Venus aspect and Venus is going through something, you can expect to be going through that with her. We all have each one of these planets within us. I did add a couple more appointments to the end of my calendar of February. If you haven't booked an appointment, you want to dive into your chart, please go ahead and do that. The more education you have about how, the contract that you came into this world in order to explore and experience, the better you can handle these particular shifts. But the heart activations are going to continue because this week is about getting our heart and our head on the same page. We are going to have these aha moments. Did you ever, go out and party and be, I know this is awful. This is going back to my teenage years because I've been sober for well over a decade right now, but I used to be a heavy partier. And, you could get into a state of blackoutness and not remember anything. And then like 4 days later, you'll be just moving through your life. And then all of a sudden have a memory flashback of something that happened while you were under the influence. This is essentially what happens to us when these planets come into a direct position and essentially are waking themselves up, is that we have these reflective aha moments of the experience, these realizations that we had while these guys were in a retrograde. And this is how we start piecing the clarity together. So we are going to have a lot of those activations. Now, the nervousness, the anxiety, the tremors, the shaking, that is all the central nervous system. And again, please pay attention. If you don't follow me on Insta or Facebook, I would actually discourage you from following me on Facebook because that's on its way out. I absolutely hate that platform. Insta isn't much better, but at least I can post a lot more stories, a lot more information on Insta than I can on YouTube. So if you're on Insta, please follow me over there. But pay attention to when I post about the CMEs coming in, the solar flares coming in, the Schumann Resonance, the light blast coming in, because that is a good indicator on the physical symptoms that you're likely going to experience when those peak energies actually come in. So we are making some huge mental progress. What I want you to pay attention to are the aha moments coming in. What I want you to pay attention to are the creative ideas, the creative inspirations coming in. Yes, we're feeling squeezed. Yes, we're feeling pressurized. We are in the birth canal. We are being pushed through the birth canal as we enter into a new reality, which of course is new earth, a new understanding, a new consciousness, a new perspective of love and unification and freedom. We are getting a taste by watching these freedom rallies on what unity is all about and how it is that we are going to shift this mother effer into the new earth, into the new realm. But birthing process is not fun. Being birthed is not fun. The one birthing is not fun. None of this is fun. None of it feels good. That's where the pressure is coming from. So yeah, we got a lot going on. I want you to pay attention to your lower back. Lower back is going through some issues this week because that is where we stabilize. That is where we feel like we are supported. That is where we are rebuilding a solid foundation that we will be gaining as we move throughout the week. So we do have to expect there to be some growing pains. We're definitely feeling those growing pains in our lower back, in our hips, in our thighs, in our knees, in our ankles. I don't know how many times I almost rolled my ankle over this past week. Old injuries from ripping the ligaments in my foot have been alive and well, reminding me to take very careful steps in my realm. We should always be careful on whether or not our legs are strong enough to support us in moving to the next step of our plan. And we have a lot of plans. We're going to continue that planning, continue that logical, practical, strategic, calculated planning that we have to do here and now in order to prepare us for this big shift, this big launch. Trust me when I say if you have the time to rest and rejuvenate and recalibrate and realign right now, please take it, because in about a month and a half's time, you're not going to have the time to sit down. You're not going to have the time to realign. We are going to hit the ground running. There are going to be so many moving parts, moving aspects that you're going to look back at this time and say, damn, I wish I would have just given myself an extra coach day. I wish I would have given myself the time to step back and reflect and sit into quietness, because I am damn near exhausted. There's no time to sit. There's no time to rest. There's no time to recalibrate, realign, and reflect. You're going to kick yourself. Give yourself the time right now, seeing that we are in a season supported by rest and reflection, to do so. Because I'm telling you, once we move into Aries season, you are going to be absolutely run right off your feet. We are going to be just overwhelmed with the amount of things being thrown at us, the amount of energy that we have, the amount of tasks and chores and projects and foundations and elements that we're bringing to life. Please give yourself the break now, because your physical bodies, your mind space, your heart space will thank you later. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I've been ranting for long enough. I want to thank you so much for sitting with me, so much for chatting it up in the live chat here. I want to thank you for supporting one another, for sharing your experiences, for letting others know that we are not alone. We are going through this together. This is a group effort. We are building this community each and every single day. We are building the vibe, building the collective. It is a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you for showing up here, not only for me, but for yourself. I hope you have a beautiful week. We'll talk to you soon.